Welcome to This Month in Type 1 Research. Please check the description for the original sources, and all content is general in nature and should not be considered medical advice.
Okay, let's dive right in. To really get a sense of what's going on with T1D research, you've got to look at the speed. It's just wild. Think about it. Back in 1990, you're looking at maybe 169 scientific papers on the topic. Jump ahead to 2010, and that number explodes to over 2,000. And this year, we've already smashed past 4,000. This isn't just progress, it's like the whole field hit the accelerator.
Okay, that's a ton of information, right? It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. How do you even begin to sort through it all? What are the big takeaways? What are we actually learning from this mountain of data? Well, that's what we're going to do. Let's break it down.
We're going to split this up into three main themes. And the first one, well, it's all about what's making a difference right now today. We're talking about the human side of things, the real-world experience of managing T1D every single day.
And when you look at the research, it's pretty clear where a lot of the focus is. It's on the whole person, not just the numbers. You see studies digging deep into just how much strain this puts on families and caregivers. There are trials looking at really practical tools like therapy for folks struggling with disordered eating. And then you have these eye-opening findings, like the T1 Drink Initiative, which showed that there are some pretty big gaps in education around things like alcohol safety for young adults.
And if you dig into that caregiver piece a little more, one number just jumps out at you. Almost 80%. That's the percentage of informal caregivers who are female in one study. That's a huge gender disparity, right? It tells us that the weight of care isn't shared equally, and that's a whole other layer of complexity that science is now trying to get its head around.
And this really paints a picture of just how complex life with T1D is. Because on one hand, you have these incredible stories. Elite athletes, marathon runners with type 1, absolutely crushing it and maintaining great control. But then, on the other hand, research also shows that a lot of people are still grappling with the basics, like carb counting. And sleep, it's a massive issue, a really big one, especially for kids. It just reminds you, this thing never sleeps. It's a 24/7 job.
So that contrast is the perfect setup for where we're going next. Because to really help with those day-to-day challenges, we have to go deeper. We have to unlock the biological secrets behind them. We're shifting from the what to the why.
Okay, so how do we start connecting those dots? Well, that leads us to one of the absolutely hottest topics in research right now, this thing called cellular senescence. The easiest way to think about it is, well, it's like cellular burnout. Your beta cells are under this constant stress from the autoimmune attack, and eventually, some of them just give up. They get stuck, they stop dividing, they don't work right, but they don't die either. They just hang around and cause trouble.
And get this, these burned out cells, they're not just sitting there quietly. Oh no, they're actively screaming for help. They send out these distress signals, these things called SASP factors. And here's where it gets really, really cool. A new study is suggesting that we might actually be able to pick up on those signals in a blood test. Just imagine that, a simple blood test that could give us a window into what's happening inside the pancreas. That would be huge.
Another way scientists are hunting for clues is by studying identical twins. It's brilliant, right? They have the same DNA, so if one gets T1D and the other doesn't, you can start looking at environmental factors. And a recent study did just that. It found that the twin with type 1 had way lower levels of certain things in their system, things that are directly linked to gut bacteria. This is yet another massive piece of evidence pointing right at the gut microbiome.
But just when you think you're starting to figure things out, science just loves to throw a curveball. So there's this study looking at something called the epigenome. Think of it like the software that tells our genetic hardware what to do. And what they found is, well, it's kind of mind-bending. It looks like being exposed to maternal T1D in the womb might actually flip some genetic switches that protect the child from getting it later on. How wild is that? It completely changes how we might think about prevention.
It's exactly this kind of wild, fundamental discovery that leads us to our third and final part. Let's talk about the future. How do we take all this incredible knowledge and actually engineer the therapies of tomorrow?
So, one of the biggest hurdles for any kind of cell replacement therapy has always been, how do you stop the immune system from just destroying the new cells? It's the same attack that caused the problem in the first place. Well, this is where things get really sci-fi. Scientists are developing ways to create a kind of biological invisibility cloak for new beta cells. They're using these tiny devices to wrap each cell in a special gel, basically hiding it from the immune system. It's just incredible stuff.
And you can really feel this sense of optimism bubbling up in the scientific community. You read these papers and the whole conversation is different.
It's shifting away from just, how do we manage this better, to how do we actually fix this? People are seriously talking about cures. The goal now is to revolutionize the treatment, not just tweak it.
You know, the great thing about where we are right now is that we're not putting all our eggs in one basket. It's this amazing multi-front attack. You've got the cell therapies trying to replace the lost cells, you've got immunomodulation trying to stop the attack itself, and at the very same time, you have better and better insulins coming out to improve daily control. It's a full-on assault on the problem from every possible angle.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've seen all this progress. What's the one big thing to take away from all of this?
I think the real story here is that progress isn't just happening in one little area. It's happening everywhere, all at the same time. We've got researchers focused on the human side of things, the quality of life stuff. We're getting closer and closer to understanding the root biological causes, linking our cells, our gut, our genes. And maybe the most exciting part is that this talk of a cure, it's not just a dream anymore. It's becoming a real, tangible engineering problem that people are solving.
So really, the takeaway this month isn't about one single breakthrough. It's about momentum. It's about this incredible wave of progress that's pushing everything forward, from making life better today to designing the cures of tomorrow. And all of it, every single bit, points to the next big question we have to answer. We're getting good at the idea of replacing cells, but how do you convince the immune system to just stand down and accept them for good? That's the question that will drive the next wave of research. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow the link in the channel description to buy me a coffee, and thank you for listening.